Hello, this is Michael Bell, better known as Quackerjack. It's playtime in Darkwing Duck, Chaz Fidster, and Drew Pickles in Rugrats, Prowl, Sideswipe, Scrapper from Transformers, Swoop, me swoop, me know nothing. And you're listening to In Conversation with Amber, the fangirl. That's ATF to you. So, as High Tide would say, sit back and enjoy.
Hello everyone, Amber here. Welcome back to another In Conversation with ATF. Yes, this is the series where I talk to voice actors about their voice acting career and, well, just mainly what they like to do when they're not being voice actors, because they are normal people like us, aren't they? Today's guest is a man who I have known for about 2 years. We first met on Facebook, and man, he has such a good voice. I love it to bits. It's possible to fall in love with someone's voice cords. I don't know. But my guest today is known for being Quackerjack in Darkwing Duck, Chaz Finster and Drew Pickles in Rugrats, High Tide in Transformers Rescue Bots, Prowl, Scrapper, Swoop, Sideswipe, First Aid, Bombshell, and loads more in the original G1 Transformers, and a personal favourite of mine, I nearly forgot to mention one. Duke and Zamot in G.I. Joe, the original one, the cartoon one. And my personal favourite, the dad in Frank Muir's What a Mess. Do you remember that? Do you remember doing that?
Absolutely. In fact, in What a Mess, my wife, Victoria Carroll, and I we played a couple of Afghans.
Wow.
And we had to learn Afghani. So we studied Afghani because that was great fun to give us a chance to stretch. Yeah.
Yes. This is my guest, Mr. Michael Bell. Welcome.
Hey everybody. Hey everybody. How many people are listening? How many fans do you have on this thing?
Well, obviously it's not being broadcast live right now. Obviously this will get recorded and then it'll be put into, obviously I'll edit it. But I run a YouTube channel. It's got about 5,000 subscribers.
My goodness. Okay, good. I'm glad I shaved.
So, yeah, I've got quite a big audience. I've done a lot of media things regarding autism because I have Asperger's. Is that a dog I hear? Oh, right. I hear someone in the background. Is that a dog?
I have 3 dogs and 4 cats.
3 dogs? What? I had 4 cats. I only have 1 dog. He's downstairs sleeping.
3 dogs, 4 cats, and my daughter who lives on the property. She has her own cottage. My daughter, who's an actress, Ashley Bell.
Ashley Bell.
Lives on the property, and she just adopted a Great Pyrenees from one of the shelters. So now there's 4 dogs in the family.
Wow, that's so cool. So how are you, Michael?
Good. Just excuse me. That's it. Okay. When this thing is finally over, it'll be nice to get back into conventions and get to see people again. And
yeah.
Maybe not hug so quickly, but at least to see them and shake hands.
Yeah, and I noticed a little Prowl you have on your desk. I absolutely love that. It's too cute.
Yeah.
So what is he? Is he like a little like a Weeble, or is he just like a plush toy?
Yeah, it's like a little plush thing. It's really interesting. It's the woman that made that, or the fan that made that, also made, as I said, a swoop for me, and there was several of other. I mean, I can't take everything home, unfortunately, but these are sort of special, so I took them with me. And often, when there's kids that come to the convention and they sit there and they salivate, and I go, "Okay, fine," and I give it to them.
Oh, that's so cute. That is. Oh, bless you. So, what have you been doing during this pandemic? Have you been working from home? Have you been, just doing your own hobbies? What have you been doing?
I've been doing auditioning. Still, we're auditioning. There's a lot of animated shows out there, and I have gone to a couple of ADR sessions, in the additional dialogue replacement sessions for foreign films for Netflix. So, if it's Korean film or Italian film, I throw my voice in there for major characters, and I just ADR'd something did a Walla job for Disney.
Wow.
Yeah, which is great fun. So it keeps me busy.
The only voiceover job I've really done is you can't really see it. It's just here. It's a little photo. It's me with a coin-operated helicopter ride. You know the coin-operated rides you see at like shopping centres and you put the money in, it moves, and music, blah, blah, blah. I did a voiceover for a helicopter one. It was released last year. Unfortunately, the company made it has now gone bankrupt.
Well, you're lucky for them, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not going to hire her. The last person she worked for went bankrupt.
So, well, they went bankrupt because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that was their final ever ride. So I think I jinxed them.
Jinx, there she is. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely ride. I went to a trade show and I saw it. And
Mhm.
obviously, because they have all them on free play, so obviously press the button, and I'm like, wow, it's a really good ride. I pressed the button, the sound effect button, and I'm like, that's so surreal. I didn't expect to hear my voice on there. Because
Yes.
I go on these rides and I'm just sort of kid shows and I expect to hear them, but no, it's me.
That's so cool. I know that's good. The first time you do that and you hear it, it's always great to hear it back. Yeah, that's really cool. Well,
My
good for you.
first foray into the acting world, and I hope it's not my last.
Listen, do you have an agent there?
No.
You don't.
I
Okay.
only got the job because I know the people who manufacture those rides.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's because I actually film them for my YouTube channel. They get about thousands of views, and it's crazy to see how many people like these coin-operated rides. Because obviously you can see, I have posters of them on my wardrobe, and I own 3 of them myself. So, and I get up to about 600,000 views on them, and I earn money. So my highest viewed ride video has got about £300.
Oh wow.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, of course it's crazy.
Mad.
It's a new world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
what have you been doing since the pandemic? Just
well, I've mainly been working on a. Did you hear about the Bill Scott documentary? But yeah, of course, I contacted you before about it. Yeah, I emailed you about the Bill Scott the documentary. Yeah, I'm still working on that. I've interviewed a lot of people for it. So your first foray into the acting world was that Speed Buggy, as I've heard, which was in '73.
actually, I think it was. I don't think it was Speed Buggy. I think it was Oliver Twist and the Artful Dodger, and I got to play Dodger. And
Oh.
fortunately, they asked me to sing as well, which was such a shame. I think it spoiled the show, but uh,
Oh.
Oliver Twist and the Artful Dodger, I think, was the first thing I did for Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, I started to take off there.
Let me just search it up real quick. Oliver Twist and the Artful Dodger. Let's have a look. Hanna-Barbera. I'm a fast typer. Ah, yes, 1972 film. Michael Bell, Gary Marsh. Pamela Ferdin was in it. And Lucille Bliss.
Right.
Wow, what a cast.
It's a big cast. Clive Revel.
Oh,
Trying to
yeah.
how many people were in it.
Joan Gerber, Don Messick, John Stevenson. Obviously, you would go on to work on Transformers with Don and John. And who was it? Who was it you just mentioned? Clive. He was. Was he kicked back? Because I know you were Bombshell.
It's one of those things. Yes, I can't remember.
Oh yeah, he's kicked back. Your Bombshell and Hal Rail was Shrapnel, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard the Royal Library sessions for those recordings because it's just like sound effects, you like talking like that and stuff. So I really just wanted to ask about your Transformers roles, if that's all right.
Let's go ahead.
Especially with a Bombshell, how did you record or like do Bombshell's voice? Because Bombshell had sort of like a back of the throat voice, and he had like a sort of echo after his voice because when he said something, he just go like
He's all the way back here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because when you get the role, often you don't audition for that role. You audition for a particular role. I think I auditioned for Prowl. And while I was in there, they said, would you read for this? Would you do this as well? I think we're all lined up. And they said, okay, Mike, you're going to do this voice. I thought, well, I better jump to some other character beyond Prowl. And they said, you're going to do Swoop. And I said, okay. And I thought, what did I do for him? And then they came up with Bombshell. I said, well, I can't sound too much like Swoop, so I have to level off a little bit. Then I can add a dialect for something else. It was, you're constantly on call, as it were, during the session. These aren't things you audition for. These are things you do during the session. Sometimes you'll do it, and then they'll say, you try it, Frank, or you try it. But so we switch around. Yeah.
Yeah. Mars as well. You were also Prowl. Prowl is one of my favorite Transformers, along with Jazz. I have a Jazz that's somewhere on my shelves over there. He was my first Transformer. I only got him a few months ago, but yeah, he's really great. Obviously it's hard to find any of the other Transformers, but yeah, how would you describe Prowl's voice? Is he just your normal voice, or is he,
My normal voice, yeah, it was close to me. And a little bit of Clint Eastwood, just a little bit of that soft, kind of slow thing, because he was a cop, so I wanted to be easy.
Can you still do the voice today or not?
I don't think so. I think I can play his father.
Mm.
I'm not sure I can do Prowl again. That voice has softened up over the years. Doesn't have that kind of sharp quality.
Yeah, but he is lovely though. So obviously I've seen in a lot of media people often pair Prowl up with Jazz. What was it like to work with Scatman Crothers?
Scatman was just amazing. I mean, listen, he was a celebrity in his own right long before he came to Transformers. I mean, it's working with someone who was a almost mythological character because we've seen him, we grew up with him. So he's one of those people I grew up with, literally. So it was kind of a thrill for me. But that stands for a lot of the actors that I worked with that were older than myself at the time.
Yeah. No, that's completely understandable. And obviously I've heard he used to bring his guitar into recording sessions like in the lobby and stuff. So
that's it. That would be Scat. I mean, he was a man for all seasons. He really was.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of recording sessions, I've heard obviously Ed Gilbert. I can't remember. Was he? I think he was Dirge. I think that's just completely off the top of my head. I think he was Blitzwing as well. Is it true that he brought a tarantula into the recording session once and it escaped?
He was. I'm trying to think. An entomologist. And
yeah.
He marvelous artwork on those little squiggly creatures. He did great work. I mean, I was fascinated by his artwork. And I directed Ed in Peter Pan for Fox.
Oh yes, Peter Pan and the Pirates.
With Jason
Marsden, Tim Curry.
And some really extraordinary actors, and Ed Gilbert being one of them.
Yeah, I think he was Mr. Smee, and I was just reading up about it before, so... Yeah, it's cool you're a voice director as well. It's really cool, I think, how some voice actors are also voice directors, because obviously you've got Charlie Adler, Susan Blue, and yeah, a few others.
So, Susan and I were together in The Hulk, The Incredible Hulk. I was Bruce Banner and she was my girlfriend.
Aw, I haven't spoken to Susan yet. I have added her on Facebook, but she hasn't responded to my message, so I'm hoping.
And my wife, Victoria Carroll, was the She-Hulk.
Oh, wow. So you're from a family of actors then? It runs in the family.
We have family of actors, yes, that's what we are. It's traditional. Yeah.
That's wonderful. What else is there? Yes, Sideswipe. I also love Sideswipe as well. Obviously, he was like the twin of Sunstreaker, who was voiced by, if you didn't know, Corey Burton. So what was it like working with Corey when you were doing like Sideswipe and Sunstreaker?
Corey's really interesting. He's an interesting guy. He's very low key.
Yeah.
He's this very quiet guy, and he's got this marvelous deep voice that he pulls out, which is kind of fascinating. I think I was Zamot and he was Tomax, if I recall.
Yes.
Yeah, Joe, yeah. And I think he continued on doing Transformers or G.I. Joe, I'm trying to remember.
Transformers, he would have done Spike with Wiki.
He continued on doing some more.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to him, so...
Okay, yeah. Cool.
That was a rarity I thought would never happen because obviously I've heard how private he is.
Very private. He and Frank are the two privates.
And I've somehow managed to get past their barrier. Not obviously by forcing it down. Obviously they've opened up the gate and just let me in.
No, that was very sweet. That was very, very. Well, you're nice and you're pleasant, and it's always easy because you're a girl.
Oh, thank you. Oh man, I'm blushing. You've made me blush. So yeah, I spoke to Corey last year over Skype, and yeah, we had a wonderful conversation. He has autism as well. He has Asperger's.
No, I know. I never knew that.
Like me.
I had no idea. Not a clue.
So we had a long conversation about autism, Asperger's, and a lot of other stuff. And yeah, we talked until about 4 o'clock in the morning for me. So really fun. 6 hours. Best 6 hours of my life.
Well, I haven't spoken to him. I think I've spoken to him 6 hours in my whole career.
Aw, bless. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him in a few months, since January. Yeah, I think at this point I've just like, he goes to this like hibernation stage where he's like, he just doesn't have any social media contact. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll leave you alone. And then I said I'll come back when I finish the documentary, and then yeah, hopefully.
I always wonder about the lives of some of the people I work with in voice animation. I mean, when I did on camera, I could see what the on camera people were doing because you can read up on that. But there's not much generally written up about voice actors. And personally, we really all didn't hang around together. We weren't guys that hung together for whatever reason. We had our families and private lives. But when we get together, it's like old times, you know, just talking, joking, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So when was the last time you saw Frank?
I think it was at a convention 2 or 3 years ago.
I think I know what it is. Was Alan Oppenheimer there?
Alan, I'm always hanging around with Alan, yeah.
Because I have a photo on my phone, and it's of you, Alan, and you're Michael. You, Alan, and Frank. There.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Peter was in that one too.
Oh yes, Peter Cullen.
Yeah.
Oh man.
In fact, when I saw Frank and Peter, it was from a distance, and we were all busy at our tables. And then I noticed over the corner that Peter was posing with his fans. He had a big line of fans that they took a picture with him.
Yeah.
And so I snuck up behind the curtain. He didn't see me, and I put my hand on his butt. And he thought it was one of the fans. And he went, "Whoa!" And he turned around and he went, "Mike, oh, yeah, I thought he's just crazy."
Oh my gosh, that would have been the greatest thing, like just to see his reaction, just to go from confusion and surprise to then go, oh my gosh. Oh man.
We did Voltron together.
Voltron, yes, I've heard of Voltron.
We did Voltron together, so we're old friends.
I just keep thinking, I'm just picturing how that incident went in my head, and I'm just thinking, wow, I can't believe that's just happened. Who else is there from Transformers? Oh yes, First Aid, Ratchet's successor. How did First Aid sound?
You know, I don't recall. I have to be honest with you, because he was such a subsidiary character. I mean, I don't think even anybody asked me. I never get fans to ask me for First Aid's autograph. He's the least characters that I do.
I'll ask for it next time I see you, just to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, Mike. And also Scrapper and Swoop as well. So
Swoop has a big fan base. Scrapper has a fan base. Brainstorm has a fan base. And of course, Prowl. I get a lot of cops and soldiers that want Prowl's picture and autograph.
Aww.
They say you at conventions. I have a lot of cops who will come up and say, "I became a cop because of you." And I, "Oh, really?" Or I joined the Army because of you, or I joined the Marines because of you. I said, "You joined the Marines because of Duke or Prowl or oh yeah." And that's always been the thing. It's interesting.
Oh, that's amazing. Can you still do Swoop's voice?
Swoop? Me Swoop, me know nothing.
Yes! Yes! You still got it. Still got it.
Me know Amber.
Yes! Yes! Oh, I'm fangirling right now. I'm like, whoa. So about, how long is that? Yeah, about 27-ish years later, you returned to Transformers in Rescue Bots.
Right.
Yeah, you were High Tide.
I was High Tide, yeah, with Peter was in that as well.
Yeah.
It was a limited series. I'm sorry it didn't continue because it was great fun to come back and visit.
Yeah. Didn't you audition for the Transformers film in like 2007?
I didn't have to audition for the Transformers in 2007.
Or it just said on the Transformers wiki that you auditioned or.
Oh yes, right, yeah. Yeah, and I didn't get it. I auditioned for
Oh.
my role and I didn't get it.
Oh, you auditioned for Prowl?
So yeah.
Oh, I don't know who voices him in the films. I don't think he actually has a voice in the films.
No, and they didn't. It wasn't used. But the point was that when I spoke to the producers for the first, I think it was the first Transformers, I spoke to the producers. I managed to get through to them, and they said, we're not going to be using any of your characters. The producer said, or the assistant to the producer said, I'm a big fan. Oh my God, I was raised on Transformers. I know who you are. And he was all excited. I said, great. I said, you should use all the guys. Our butts have dropped, but our voices are still the same. And he said, well, I don't know about that, but we'll see. And I said, and better yet, if you don't use us, I know eventually they used Frank, I think, or something, but prior to that they didn't. I said, why don't you use us on camera as subsidiary characters? You could have Jack Angel doing, an old guy on a bench, and me, somebody in a store saying, oh, look at that, whatever it is. And then you'd have all these characters who played those voices listed.
Yeah.
And he said, no. I said, okay, fine.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
Michael Bay claims to be a Transformers fan, but he literally took the persuasion of tons of fans just to cast Peter Cullen, because I think he was going to use George Clooney for Optimus Prime, and obviously you did Hugo Weaving for Megatron.
Right, yeah, exactly. Because they go for stars, and I'm glad they used Pete, and eventually used Frank.
Yeah, so. they didn't use anyone else. Peter didn't do Ironhide, that was Jess Harnell. I'm trying to think. Charlie Adler did Starscream.
Well, because the voice
of Chris Latta passed on.
It's so hard. I mean, and Charlie sounds like that anyway. I mean, he screams like that anyway, so it's not too much of a stretch.
Yeah. What was it like working with Chris Latta, speaking of him?
Chris was interesting. He was a stand-up comic, so he didn't have an unexpressed thought. So when you're in a session with him, it was constant. He was always talking. He was always verbose and really loud, and a very talented guy. Had a wonderful grasp of those characters, Starscream and Cobra.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it would have been really great. I mean, just to see the Transformers fan base now, just like, wow, would have been big. You would have had loads of fans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's all very surprising to all of
us. Oh, signed my Starscream photo. That would have been just so great. I actually don't know what his signature looks like. Do you know what his signature looks like or not? Or looked like?
No, not at all.
I don't know either. It's a rarity. That's my next thing to track down. Oh, what else is there? Oh, yeah, I forgot to ask. Could you give us a bit of High Tide?
High Tide was closer to trying to think of. You do those. You do so many. The voices fill your head that it's a matter of switching. I'd have to hear a section of High Tide. I'd have to hear.
I'll just find them on here.
Yeah.
Again, sorry if I go on my phone. I'm not, intended on being rude. It's just literally because I'm literally looking up for the interview.
Sure.
Luckily, on Behind the Voice Actors, there is a sound clip of High Tide. I'll just play it now. Here's High Tide.
Good thing I did. I was having a gander at the local seabed when I caught their SOS. Found this wee rowboat circling the drain.
So he's back here, somewhere and up there. I found this wee rowboat circling the drain with this girl called Amber sitting in it.
Oh, man. That's amazing. I only remember one line from it. I can't remember what episode it is, but Heat waves at the station. He's like, oh, I don't like High Tide. And then Optimus is like, High Tide can be demanding, but you've got to learn to be patient, Heatwave. Steve and Peter just having a full-on conversation. Oh, man. I was like flipping out inside my mind. Enclosed inside my mind, eternal screaming. So, onto your other roles now. Now, these are some roles I know you from. You were Chaz Finster and Drew Pickles in Rugrats. What was it like working on that show?
Did you ever watch Rugrats?
I did growing up.
That's probably one of my favorite roles was Chaz Finster, because it was a human role. It was really beautifully written. And as a dad, it was a wonderful character. His relationship with with his son was just, it was very, very pretty. And he was a fragile kind of guy, and I loved playing that character. And it became very successful. And of course, I also played Grandpa Boris, the Jewish grandpa, in that as well.
Oh yes, I remember now. I remember watching the Passover episode when I was younger. Weren't they like trapped in a loft upstairs, and he tells the story about Passover?
Right. Yeah, I played Grandpa Boris and Drew, of course, and occasionally, and I did Spike.
Oh, you did Spike?
Right, Spike talked like this, right?
Wait, he had a voice?
Yes, yeah. But Spike had one show where he had a voice, and they said, "Can you do something entirely different?" I said, "All right." Well, I tried this, all right. And they said, "Oh, good. Yes, let's do an English dialect."
That's so weird, just hearing you with an English accent.
It's an English accent, right? Exactly. He said, "I love it. I love it."
That's so cool. Like, I thought you were an Englishman then. I was like, that's so weird. It confused me. So, wow. Yes, I did grow up watching Rugrats. Nick Jr. over here, Nickelodeon. I used to watch it. The thing is, it didn't air that often. It mainly aired in the evening, so I'd always used to like record it and then just, watch back. And I was like, I only remember like the first 2 episodes. I think I remember were you in the movie, the Rugrats in Paris one?
Both of them.
Oh, you were in both of them?
Yeah.
We had them both on VHS. We did.
Rugrats in Paris and Rugrats Go Wild.
Oh yeah, wasn't that the Wild Thornberrys crossover one?
Combination of the crossover, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the same people, classic.
Tim Curry, who was my my Peter Pan.
Yeah, he was Captain Hook.
He was Captain Hook. He was my Captain Hook. He won an Emmy for that.
Did he?
Yeah,
I
directed those, I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, what else is on my list? Yes, you were also Quackerjack in Darkwing Duck.
Right.
Quackerjack.
So, did you bring back the voice for the reboot of
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact.
Did you? Wow.
I had to remind them that's what I sounded like, because they figured, well, he's older now, he's going to have a different voice. But that was an easy one to bring back.
They assumed wrong, because it happens a lot. Because obviously, I mean, when June Frey was doing the sorry, there's something on my screen, doing the Rocky and Bullwinkle short film, which was in 2014, she actually had to re-audition for Rocky because the producers thought she was too old, but she still had it.
I know, absolutely. Did you? I don't know. When you probably have never seen it. It's an American film. It's no longer an American series called Community. And it's a comedy. It's a situation comedy. It's live action. And in one of the shows called G.I. Jeff, the lead of the show gets hit in the head and goes into goes comatose, and he winds up going to G.I. Joe land, and it becomes animated.
Wow.
So they called to find out. They called my agent and said, "We'd like Michael to do Duke, but we don't know if he sounds the same. So could you let us know?" And she said, "Why don't you talk to him?" So they said, "Okay, great." So she called me and she said, "You can get a call from the producers of Community to see if you sound exactly like Duke, because you're older now. They want to make sure you sound the same." I said, "Okay." And the phone rang and I picked it up and I went, "Hello?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Who's this?" They said, "This is the producer, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Can I speak to Michael Bell?" I said, "Oh, sure, Grandpa." And then I got on the line. I went, "Hello?" And he went, "Yeah, is this Michael Bell?" "Yeah, this is Michael." And he went, "Michael Bell, the voice of Duke?" I said, "Yeah, that's me. What do you want?" And there's this silence. He was so embarrassed he didn't know what to say. And I said, "Okay, knowing is half the battle. How's that? Is that okay?" And he went, "Oh, okay, good."
That's amazing. Oh, I keep saying that's amazing. I need to find an alternative word.
It's fun. If you can download Community, and it's great fun because it's very, very hip. The whole animated period of it is very, very hip.
So who else returned to it? Oh, it was only 2014.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought it was like the 90s.
They brought in, and in fact, it was interesting. They brought in Mary McDonald Lewis to play Scarlet. Although B.J. Ward was available, I don't think anybody thought to call her.
Who did Scarlet? Who did Mary play in the original series? Was it Lady J?
BJ.
Lady
Yeah.
J.
They
They
brought
brought back Bill Ratner as well as Flint.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that must have been so cool. And obviously, they had Rob Schrab as Cobra Commander because obviously Chris Lass had already passed on.
Of course, yeah.
Wow. Wow, that sounds really good. I think I'll check that out at some point.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's kind of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Especially with 3 of the original voice actors, even though Mary's not playing Lady J.
I remember going to a convention after that, and there were all these people dressed up as those characters from Community.
Oh, wow.
Community. I thought, wow.
That's amazing. I need to take a shot every time I say that's amazing. I'm sorry. Okay. What else is there? Okay, another thing I'd like to talk to you about is What a Mess. Now, obviously, for those at home who don't know, What a Mess was a cartoon that was produced in the UK. It was based off a book series by Frank Moir. That's Frank Muir. Did a series narrated by Frank. And then I think with the production rights sold, because I know the second series was made in America by Deke Productions.
Yes.
And then it got an entirely new voice cast and American dub as well.
Right.
Michael played the father on the program. I know
Yes.
Debbie Derryberry was in it as well.
Sure, Debbie Derryberry, myself.
Yeah.
And as I said, my wife joined me. We played a couple of Afghans in it, and we studied with an Afghani
Wow.
to have, because we had several lines in Afghani. So that was fun. I love doing research. That was really cool.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see like UK shows like get transformed into like American adaptations. I mean, it's happened before because there's an old cartoon that aired over here called Super Ted, made by Mike Young. I'm not sure if you've ever worked with Mike Young or heard of him. He works in Los Angeles now. He produces TV shows. He's a Welshman, just like me. Well, I'm a Welsh girl, so
Welsh girl.
yeah. Now I live on the border to Wales, and I've been to Wales lots of times, and I'm
Welsh girl. Have you been watching Keeping Faith? That wonderful Welsh series?
My parents watched that.
Love it. We just finished the 3rd season, and we're bereft. We can't wait till the 4th season.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So there's a really long town name in Wales. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. It's in Anglesey. It's where we're actually going on holiday in a few weeks. It's the longest town name in the world. Not a lot of people can pronounce it. And it goes a little something like this.
Okay, I'll wait till you get a drink of water. I thought you were joking for a second. That is really something, boys. That is.
I know. You should see the train station as well. Frank told me that he plays golf with a woman, a husband and wife who are Welsh and English, and the wife's been teaching him how to say Llanfair. Well, they say it's Llanfair PG for short, but man, the station name is something else. Really, this is crazy, right? You'd literally have to just see it to believe it. Check this out.
That's the station name?
Yeah, that's the town name as well. That's how long the town name is.
By the time you finish that, it sounds like you're supposed to spit up on the tracks.
This is literally just going to be a running gag in every single one of my interviews. Oh yeah, can you say Llanfair? I did it with Neil before, so it was like, yeah, that happened.
That's funny.
I've said it to Frank over obviously that forum thing, and when I speak to him next, I'm gonna surprise him with that. I'm gonna say, oh yes, you know what, I'm going on holiday next. That place, that long town in Wales. Yeah, so that's fun. Cool. Did you ever meet Frank Moir on What a Mess, or did you just?
Is it M-U-I-R?
M-U-I-R, yeah.
Moir? I don't know. Well, no, I've never met him. No.
I think he narrated the US version. He must have recorded his lines in England.
No.
Anyways, where were we? Oh yes, we were talking about Super Ted. Well, Hanna-Barbera got the rights because I think Mike Young sold them. And like Hanna-Barbera and Studio Animation S4C Welsh channel, they did a second series called The Further Adventures of Super Ted, aired, produced by Hanna-Barbera. Entirely new voice cast. Well, when it aired in the UK, they had the original voices for the main characters, but then everyone else was dubbed with new actors from America. And Frank was in it. They had Tres McNeil, Pat Fraley, and a load more of this. So that was like, it was like a transition from like a classic small British show with a small cast to an American show with a bigger cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It really is crazy. And if you look at
they do a lot of that. I actually always like the British versions better. I think there must be something Anglo about me. I like the British versions of shows that I've watched a lot better than the American adaptions. I think they have a different slant. There are certain shows that I've watched, British shows like Mum, which is a brilliant show, and I would never want to see that Americanized. I certainly didn't want to see Fawlty Towers Americanized.
Love Fawlty Towers.
But died here, but it's the English version is brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. About English version, if you look at the theme song to What a Mess, the English version, I mean, the British version's a lot more calmed down than the US version, especially the titles as well, because in British you've got, oh, what a mess, goes to the seaside or something, while in America you've got talking trash and schools out as the titles. You see the drastic difference?
Oh yeah, it's well, you know, people try to fix what's not broken.
Yeah.
And in America, and unfortunately it hasn't worked for most of the time. There may be an occasional, but it hasn't worked most of the time. You can see live action shows that just don't work the way they did in Britain.
It's kind of funny though, to be fair, because you just see Americans try to take on a British show, and you just think, oh yeah, that's it. While I was watching it, I'm thinking, wow, so Michael Bell's in What a Mess by British comedian Frank Muir, excuse me. This is just so weird to see. Like, wow, it's just so cool just to see you take on a British show, like made in Britain and obviously like made famous by a British comedian, and then it's just the drastic change to the American voice actors I love. I'm like, wow.
No, you know, if they consider the fact that there's some money involved, somebody will do an adaptation.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the case.
What is the greatest voiceover job you think you've done so far?
I don't know about greatest. I mean, the most, I don't think of myself in those terms of doing anything great, but I think the most fun was probably Rugrats, I would have to say, because I had so much to do, so many characters to play until they started to bring in some celebrities. But for the most part, I think that was probably my favorite.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
It was a show I did for Steven Spielberg, which I love doing, called A Wish for Wings That Work. It's a Christmas show where I played a penguin. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. If you ever get an opportunity to look at A Wish for Wings That Work, it's a marvelous combination of animation and live action, which I did for Spielberg. And there's some super talent in that.
Wow, that's so cool. So, obviously, you said you've done some really good jobs. What are you working on right now exactly? Is there anything you're working on right now, or can you not say due to what was it? Is it NDR and NDA? I think.
ADR.
I
call it.
I thought NDA meant to be like, no, you've got to keep it zipped until it comes out.
Yeah, you got to keep it zipped. ADR is, I call it additional dialogue replacement. It's when a film has been made and then they need to get minimal characters behind because maybe it was outdoors, or there was a possibility there was a problem with sound. So they just bring in other actors to dub all that stuff and provide voila, as we call it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to do that because, well, I know I did that helicopter ride, but that wasn't really professional. I literally just did the lines in my room right here in this spot, sitting on my computer. So one day I am making a voice reel, so hopefully that will get me somewhere. Also,
but you don't have an agent there. You have no agents there.
I know, but that's why I'm making a voice reel, so I can just send it off to a few local agents and say, "Here's a voice reel. Contact me if you want to represent me or do anything." You
should go to iTunes. I teach a class on iTunes.
Do you?
Voice animation class. It's for free. I posted it. I filmed it. There's a wonderful group called the Groundlings out here. It's an improv group, a great improv group.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is one of the founders, and they're really marvelous. And I enlisted some of the young people that were in the Groundlings at the time, and they wanted to learn how to do voiceovers and cartoon voiceovers and how to develop characters. So I taught a class. I hired a studio and a camera people and the sound people, and I teach them. So if you go to Michael Bell Voice Animation Class on YouTube, Michael Bell Voice Animation Class, and you'll have about an hour and a half watching me train actors, and you can do that at home.
I'll put a link to that in the description of this interview. Speaking of the Wish for Wings thing, what a cast. Joe Alaskey, Tress McNeil, Frank Welker. Yeah, the best of the best. Definitely. I agree. Is there anything else you want to plug in, or where can we find you?
I'm on michaelbellvoices.com, michaelbellvoices.com, and anything else to talk about. If you haven't had the opportunity, if you're an animal lover, my daughter has a film that she produced and directed called Love and Bananas. And she went to Thailand to film the rescue of a 70-year-old partially blind elephant from a tracking camp and her 500-mile journey to a sanctuary. It's an extraordinary film called Love and Bananas. I know that if you love animals and you love stories about the environment, and it's a narrative, but it's a documentary, and Ashley's in it, and it's a marvelous film. It's all over the world now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite lovely. So I always talk about that.
Oh, you must be such a proud father.
I'm a proud daddy.
Oh, bless you.
Absolutely.
And I think really that obviously you've heard of the new Rugrats reboot. I think they did you dirty by not inviting you back. They invited everyone else. They invited Cree Summer, E.G. Daily, Kath Soucie back.
But
why not you and Melanie?
I don't know. They said when my agent called me about it, and said, well, they're going to get, I don't know if there's even adults in it. I think it's mostly the kids, because those are the solid characters.
I think they are having adults in it, because I remember seeing a voice cast, but they're proper celebrities who are voicing them.
Yeah, the celebrities. So
celebrity typecasting.
They want celebrities, yeah. And I said, fine. And they said, but they'll find something for you. And I said, no, they won't. That's just a sugar tit. They're not about to find anything for me. It's just they're not going to do it. And so Melanie said, hey, we had a great time. We enjoyed it. We had a great time, and that was it. They're not going to bring back Grandpa Boris. They're not going to bring back Chucky's dad that I know of. So those are the characters I'd want to play anyway.
They constantly do celeb typecasting these days. I mean, in the new Space Jam film, Kath Soucie's not voicing Lola. It's Zendaya. Not sure if you've heard of her. She's an actress.
Yes, I know Zendaya.
She's the only celebrity who's been cast as like characters. I mean, the rest of them are like Eric Bauza, Jeff Bergman, Candy Milo are voicing the animated characters. And obviously, have you heard of the new movie Scoob, the new Scooby-Doo film? No. It's a CGI Scooby-Doo film. They replaced all of the actors, like Will Forte, Shaggy, Zac Efron is Fred, but they did one thing right. They kept Frank as Scooby-Doo.
Because that's a difficult voice to do.
Yeah.
And you can do that. I mean, that's not easy to do, to really keep that up. And Frank is able to do that. So, yeah, of course they would keep Frank. It'd be smart to keep Frank. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Animaniacs. They got Rob back and they got Tress back.
And Jess.
They got people, I mean, Spielberg was smart. He brought back the original cast. Frank.
Exactly.
Talented. So I don't know why they didn't do it with Rugrats, but you can't fight that. It's what are you gonna do?
Yeah, Michael, thank you so much for talking to me. You are an absolute legend. I love you for the bits.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
And thank you so much at home for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also go check out Michael in a lot of TV shows: Rugrats, Transformers, G.I. Joe, a lot of things. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you around. Bye. And cut.